Hi guys, so I am back in New York and my garden is absolutely insane. Like the squash, the cucumbers, the corn that died, the marigolds that are taking over the bed, my beans, my tomatoes, the corn, the onions. Okay, first of all, I slept in this morning, so I am not even going to try to do anything this morning. But look at that. Okay, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Avalon. This is Nurse in the Garden channel. I live in New York, Zone 7B, and it is July, I'm going to say it's July 26th. I'll put the date if I'm wrong. But things are blooming and going nuts in the garden, which is absolutely great. But there's some things that I've planted that actually are hindering the growth and production of other things, like my eggplant. I had a ton of flowers, which I still do have a ton of flowers, but it's producing no fruit, and I am very upset about that. My beans need to be picked, so tomorrow I'm actually going to come back and do some work in the garden. But really quickly, I'm going to show you guys around and kind of just give you guys an overview. And tomorrow I'll take you along for the harvest. I'll take you along for the cleaning, and it'll probably be like a 3-day video all meshed together, maybe a 2 or 3 day video all meshed together. And even my son, my 5-year-old, he woke up this morning, he's like, "Mommy, it's gonna be a jungle. I know it's gonna be a jungle back there," and it is. Guys, I mean, come on. Well, first of all, you know that I'm scared from my last video to see if there's any more tomato hornworms, but I had this terrible nightmare that I woke up and everything was gone. That was gone. My peppers were gone. Terrible nightmare. Thank God it was just a dream and it's not true. I have a ton of harvesting to do. I have some tomatoes that are blushing, about turning red, hanging out in organza bags, and I need to pick them. Some other tomatoes are still looking pretty much the same as they did last week. Guys, I'm getting closer trying to see something. Listen, that tomatillo plant has to go. I'm cutting off so many stalks. Like, I'm cutting off so many stalks because I just can't. Like, it's come to the middle. It's over here. It's shading things out. I cut it back before I left, and look, it's still so crazy. So I'm happy that I even did that. But oh my gosh, my tomatoes are growing so tall up there. Like, okay, anyway, but let me show you guys one thing really fast. How cool. Okay, I have a big old squash growing right here. Huh? Is that okra? Yeah, that needs to be cut down. That can't even be eaten, but I'm happy that I have one. So as you can see, it's a bit wild here. My corn has died, which is fine. I'll use it as an ornamental corn for October, but this corn over here looks like it's doing great. Either way, I'll be back tomorrow early in the morning to deal with this crazy mess. I actually have a bucket here. I was thinking of deadheading some of these flowers right now, but I'm actually going to wait for the cool of the morning. The bees are out here, they're having fun. But either way, that's what's happening here. The containers aren't suffering too much. They're doing their thing. I actually just saw a bird. I don't know if you guys just saw it. I just saw a bird fly over to my tomatoes. I mean, listen, if they take a tomato, I'm not gonna be mad because they're also eating the tomato hornworms that are hanging out on my plant. So I can't be too mad, but oh my God, I'm already hot. There's no way I could do anything today, but other than observe. I'm gonna water everything in really well tonight. I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow as well, so I'll be dealing with like just trying to I'm gonna double check what time it's gonna rain and just come out here and do all the hard work. I have so many things to harvest, peppers, all these different things. Also, I know my parents, they took one of the cucumbers that finally matured. There's a ton of cucumbers already on the plant. Yeah, so anyway, I think I was going to mention the containers. They're doing okay. My lavender has little flowers. that great? Ah, so great. My thyme, I need to cut it back, dry some more. That flower is blooming. You know, things are suffering, but also thriving at the same time. Chamomile, I need to pick all those flowers. I actually cut all this back before I left, and there's flowers again. And then these peppers I need to pick as well. I need to like probably figure out how to pickle them. My tomatoes, my onions on this side. Suffering a bit, but also thriving, I guess, bulbing up. My cilantro, growing as well. All right, guys. So I am actually deciding to come out the same day and do what I can at least in one of these beds, because the weather actually cooled down a bit here in New York. So, and I think it's gonna rain tomorrow, which won't be the most opportune time to try and prune and cut things. I could pull things out, but like cutting and pruning you shouldn't do when it's wet outside. Okay, I just nearly fell. When it's wet outside, because you don't want to spread disease and things like that. So right now you can see my very old corn stalks here. I'm actually going to move this out the way, maybe put it over to the corner of the backyard. But right now I'm going to work on the zucchini and cucumber area, just to cut everything down. Things that are old, there's some really old plants here, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. In between cutting, I am cleaning my shears with alcohol, because you don't having to like dodge all of this stuff. And I actually do have I think it's a butternut squash I have growing. There's a butternut squash right there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut some more. Now I'm just gonna cut these. This is like my yellow squash. Nothing's really growing. I thought that I had some sort of maybe bug damage, but honestly, I went on vacation and came back, and I don't see any significant bug damage that I thought I was going to see. As far as like vine borers, because the stem looks pretty bad, but I'll bring you guys in closest to see it. But honestly, the plant looks like it's still doing pretty good to me. So I'm just gonna go for it. Actually, that's a lie. This looks pretty bad. All right, so I just wanted to take you guys in closer, and as you can see, there's a lot of damage down here. I mean, as I said, I thought I was going to have more damage on this plant, but really looking at it, you know, it's kind of stunted in a way. There's like a bunch of blooms here. It doesn't look too good, but down here and right where I pulled a leaf, you can see that. So I'm actually going to pull this plant, and I have a started cucumber plant that I'm going to plant right here. I did sow a seed to replant this exact zucchini. This is a yellow one, but I think a pest or an animal, whatever, came and picked it up and like dug inside of the plant and took the seed. So, oh well. So here's my started cucumber. I think this is my muncher, because that one was looking a little bit weird back there, but I'm gonna get in there in a few minutes. I really hope the bees went home, because I'm trying to get some work done here. So I'm gonna pull that out right now. So as you can see, my tomatillo plant has taken over, and honestly right now all I'm going to do is cut where it's invading everywhere else. There are blooms everywhere, but I'm not going to concern myself with what is not already forming a pod like this. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm really just cutting everything that is just becoming a little bit too invasive. and trying to just make my way back through my garden, because now, yeah, next time I think I'm gonna grow my tomatillo plants in a different area. I don't know where, because I only really do have this backyard space, but it's doing the most. Oh, that's beautiful. This bed right over here is a little bit of a mess. I do have a lot of beans to harvest, which I'm going to try to harvest tomorrow. Because right now I can't try to harvest and clean up. I'm just going to get myself very overwhelmed. My marigold plant ended up falling on my chamomile plant when I was in here. This big tall one in the back without any flowers on it. There's one flower, absolutely beautiful, but it needs to go because it's shading everything. And I'm just gonna pull it because it keeps falling over. So I can pull it, and I'll pull anything else out. Whew. So pretty. There we go. Now I have my bed back and some space that I can really take a look and see what is going on back here. Some late day cleaning up, pulled out a few things, cut. Oh my gosh, I'm tired now. Opened up this squash area a lot. I see a lot of cucumbers, which is really nice. Trellised up my beans, and then I'm going to harvest all the peppers that I have, which aren't really much, but it's a good first year, I would say. Today is day 2. It is really hot today, but it's supposed to rain in a couple of hours, so I really want to try to get what I can get harvested out the garden before it rains, and just try to I think I want to put some fertilizer around my eggplant as well. They set a lot of, oh, that was a big bee. They set a lot of flowers, but there are no fruit. And I was just watching Gary from the Rusted Homestead, and he was saying about, like, you know, at least fertilizing it one more time. So that's what I'm gonna do. And then I'm also gonna be dodging all of these bees and bugs that are out here right now. But yeah, so my other tripod thing broke, and I actually put this on the smaller tripod, so bear with me if you really can't see what I'm doing. And I believe, I think now I'm just gonna do the harvest video, the harvesting on a separate video, just to not make this video too long. All right, so my eggplant is back there, and I'm just going to step on my lawn, which they say not to do, and on the beds, and just try to throw some fertilizer back there. The fertilizer I'm gonna put down is this bone meal, because it is high concentrations of nitrogen, phosphate, and calcium. It's all 7s. So it's a bit pelleted. So I'm gonna actually have to like grind it a bit, and then I'm going to throw it there and water it in with a water soluble fertilizer, and get that fertilized in, because I think it just might need something to help it along. So I have my water soluble fertilizer, and I'm just going to water that bone meal in. I'm going to water the other side. And I'm just going to take the rest and water in my cilantro here that was suffering just a bit because my dad was watering my lawn, but I don't think he realized that I had stuff down there, so some things got ignored. All right, so I am glistening right now. I'm so sweaty, and it's not even that hot. I just tend to sweat a lot when I come outside, but I think this will be the end of the garden, me trying to fix everything up and clean stuff up after that vacation. The next video you guys are going to see is a harvest video. So I think it looks good. Actually, I'm going to turn you guys around and show it. So I don't know if you guys can see the difference, especially in this area right here. It really cleared up. I took out the marigold that was in that area back there. I cleared up this area, exposed my eggplant, and I'm going to pick those beans, but I cut some more leaves. As you can see, I have a ton of leaves here, a ton of leaves there. And just to take you guys around, this corn has to go. You guys probably saw in one of my last videos, I tried to save it. It didn't work, so that's fine. I learned my lesson. And then I ended up like trellising up my beans. So now my beans have are going upwards instead of like falling on the floor. All right guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.